Yeah, against this right back, Charlie.
Still on the court.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on.
Because you always use that active red light defenders. I think it's like. Because you always use that active red light defenders. I think it's like. Because you always use that active red light defenders. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Man. Come on.
Oh. Can't see anything. Oh, now I can. People deluded, I'm back again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night. Shout out, stylish and appreciative to everyone who's locked in, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. I hope you're having a great afternoon, a great morning, a great evening, or a great night. Hope this week has been kind to you and your loved ones. Don't forget to comment, smash the like button, and all that good stuff. Obviously, we're almost done where January is concerned. I'm more than happy to talk about Arsenal from a footballing point of view because, you know, we're just winning every game and doing what we need to do. As we know, the transfer window is drawing to a close. We have brought in Leandro Trossard. We have obviously brought in Kyriar as well. Appreciative to you lot that have been obviously looking at my previous videos and things. Make sure you check that out. And those of you who were on Twitch yesterday, because we watched some compilations regarding who will be Arsenal's third transfer in, I don't know. Again, we're linked with a whole host of players. We'll get into it in a minute. In terms of outgoings, you've seen a couple of young players, you know, Brooke Norton-Cuffy, Miguel Aziz, a couple of other players recalled and then sent elsewhere on loan. You've seen Harry Clark leave permanently. Matt Smith should probably keep it moving. Cedric Suarez would probably keep it moving as well. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I feel like Rice will be the next successor for Partey. He's 23. AB, again, when it comes to Rice, you know you just have to put the P's down. If you put the P's down, the 80 to 100 million, you get your man in it, regardless of his contract being down, running down with till 2024, I believe, with an option of another year. You look at us, whether they're going to sign him or not. You look at us, you look at, you know, we need a midfielder in terms of longevity. Love what Xhaka and Partey bring to the table. But as you said, long term, you look at our striking options. You know, Trossard's probably one of the oldest, and he's only 28 now. You look at our defensive options, you know, Gabriel, Saliba, Ramsdale, he was part of the defensive unit, Tierney, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Benjamin White. They're in their early to mid-20s. In the midfield, the three pivot men we rely on the most, they're not Granit Xhaka, Partey, and El Nene. The one who is of the sort of makeup is Lokonga, and we don't know if he's good enough or not. Obviously, you've got Fabio Vieira, Zinchenko, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, people that could probably play in that Xhaka role long term. But I'd agree with you, and I agree with you in that I think it should be the Partey role. I think Declan Rice has a lot more technical ability than given credit for. People. Don't know what happened there, and things like that. But when you look at things, and with Arteta's talent ID, I couldn't rule out Declan Rice taking the Xhaka role and being the number 8. I'm not really for it, but I wouldn't rule it out, man. Shout out to everybody tuned in. Big up yourselves, man. And apparently Cedric Suarez is linked with a move away. Zubimendi is quality. Good at winning the ball back. Very good off the ball. Very progressive player. So it'd be lit, man. I think Fabrizio said something an hour ago about Cedric. Zubi wants Barca, all fake news. The dream is free, the hustle is sold separately. It all depends where you read, my guy. I personally believe, like you know, he wants to go to Barca, wants to play under Xavi. But unless you work for Barcelona and them things there, or you know him, anything's up for debate. Really, Rice is a calm signing. It's just the money, but English international tax. I mean, 23, 24, he could do a thing, man. Big up Deluded. Can't remember the last live stream. I caught one of these early morning streams. Bless up every time. One love. Fuad, I hope you're doing well and safe as well, my guy, man. Keep your opinions and such coming, folks. Smash the like button if you have not done such already. You know what? What's the point in wasting time, man? We might as well just get into it early doors, people. Really, you might as well just get into the transfer news. Let me make a slow timestamp. Okay, appreciate that. Neves is around. Navas is around. Do you mean Neves? Another one linked with Barcelona as well. Apparently, Xavi's got concerns over. I mean, when you look at Zubimendi, 23, 24, great off the ball, very progressive passer in that sixth position, Spanish as well. It all makes sense, really and truly, from an age point of view, from everything. 50 odd million, not going to break the bank. I don't know when you see yourselves linked with Caicedo, Declan Rice, and Zubimendi. I think you could afford to bring in two. But you're touching over 100 million. Like, how much are Brighton gonna want for Caicedo? A lot of money, innit? They've rejected two bids around 50, 60 odd million for him. They're gonna want about 70 for someone that's been at the club for about 5 minutes. At this moment in time, they only played 30 odd times for Brighton. And Arsenal have had a couple dealings with Brighton where Leandro Trossard and Benjamin White are concerned. We know how they do business. We know you agree to their terms or you keep it moving. We also know that they know how to make money. Benjamin White sold for 50 million off the back of one Premier League season. 30 odd appearances at this moment in time for Caicedo at Brighton would be fantastic business. Going to make a profit on McAllister. Made a handsome profit on Trossard. Sold Basuma with his contract running down. There's probably a couple of others. That Mitoma guy, if he keeps doing what he's doing, the move will happen really and truly. But I don't believe we're going to get Zubimendi. I would love two of the three of Zubimendi, Caicedo, and obviously Declan Rice. I personally think it's one of them of the three. If you can get Rice, that's that. If you don't get Rice, you go elsewhere, etc., etc. Caicedo shouldn't be our priority at all. I mean, it sounds like Declan Rice is, but I think he's decent. If we want Rice, we should get him as soon as possible. This next window, BS will just come back to bite us in the end. I don't know, man, because West Ham are fighting relegation. At the end of the day, you put the bread down, you can have what you want, but it's not, I guess, a formality that Arsenal are in the Champions League. Maybe we don't have that money to commit per se at this moment in time. But saying that, was it not? Obviously, it wasn't running 90 million up front. And when you deal with a Premier League team to the likes of Shakhtar and stuff, the Premier League clubs want more money up front and installments and all of those sort of things. But if we had 90 odd million quid to commit to Mudryk, surely could do that. I don't think he's a progressive passer like that as well, but I give him the luxury of being able to improve, and I do think he's better technically than given credit for. Declan Rice should be our focus. I'll be happy with everyone, man. Heard the rumor that Rice isn't signing a new contract and they're looking to sell him, but could be waffle. I mean, contracted until 2024. So they have a decent position, but it's clearly widely accepted Declan Rice will keep it moving, really. Wherever he goes, it's anyone's guess because everyone will probably be interested, man. West Ham won't let Rice go in this window. They're battling relegation. Rice will go for big money now if we attempt, and they need him to stay out of relegation. We need to tap into this Brighton conveyor belt. That Ferguson kid is looking mad as well. Even Ferguson, if he keeps scoring and things, he'll make a profit. I don't think you can hate on what Brighton are doing, really. Zubimendi is quality for La Real, but I'm skeptical if he can play as a lone six in the Premier. Technically, not really on the loan job, really. But if you're a good reader of the game, you should be able to do your job, really, man. Saka, the left-back, scoring generational goals against top clubs. Normal, man. Normal. Oh, Nana, January. It's all about timing, I'll say. Caicedo right now would be great in terms of a push for our title challenge, I think you mean, even though Rice would be better. However, wait until the summer can't help us now. Rice is a summer move, to be honest. Doubt there's anything in it, but I like that long leg you from Everton. Onana coached properly on the Xhaka or Partey role. He could bully a lot of teams. I mean, we was linked with him when he was at Lille. For one reason or another, we didn't do it. And with Everton, I don't know the credibility on if they want to sell him this window, because again, they're fighting relegation. It seems like the club's been put up for sale. So any new manager that might impact who is coming into the club. If you don't know who and when you can sign players, wherever it are, if you're Bielsa or anyone that walks in, would you want to let one of what I assume your key player is Onana? Apparently, he's missed training for whatever reason. There's Anthony Gordon rumours to Newcastle. There's Onana rumours to Chelsea and Arsenal. Some say January, some say the summer. They've just let their gaffer go under Lampard, and apparently Onana isn't happy about that, which obviously plays a part. But saying that as a football manager, as a football player, managers are disposable, really and truly. Managers are it's a very fickle business, really. When Tuchel won the Champions League, you knew that it wouldn't be too unrealistic to assume for one reason or another, rightly or wrongly, come 18 months, he could lose his job. You've seen it. And it's not just isolated to Chelsea. You see this all the time, really and truly. So it is what it is in that regard. Sorry, people. I don't know why YouTube is telling me this. And my title is offensive. It's weird. But all right. Fair enough, man. Nana is kind of booky. I did kind of think that Douglas Luiz would have been the one. Nah. I mean, I would have taken it. It's good squad player, but there's better options out there. He would have been part of a great collective. And that, again, you know, probably better than El Nene at this moment in time, respectfully to the best Egyptian in the league. Know what he's giving more than Lokonga. It would have been lit, but it's not really that deep, really. I mean, 50 million for Onana or 50 odd million on some other targets, I'd rather do that, people. But we're going to have to probably spend the bag. McKennie Hijack, I don't know how to feel if that's true. I'll take him for the squad, but I'm not really convinced on him, really. Dream transfer should be Fresnadar, Rice, and Zubimendi. Zubimendi to replace Xhaka for me and Rice less Calcedo for Partey. Oh, I'm not too sure about that. The next gen in midfield might be set. Imagine that pair with Odegaard. I think Odegaard will move into that 8 role. Certain people were saying Saka is better as a left back, bro. Especially Man United fans, they were convinced that my man's a left back. Crazy how things work out, man. But it's we'll take it. We'll take it. So yeah, man. With that being said, let's just look at the transfer news, people. We're wasting time. Keep your opinions on whatnot coming. Let's go through everything, really. Transfer news. Let's start with. Let's go all the way over here, I guess. Oh, what's going on there? Gary Neville getting clipped up on the socials. But again, outgoings. Not that there can be too many outgoings at Arsenal, people. Allegedly, it's done. Arsenal accepted the offer from Fulham for Cedric Suarez. Loan with no option to buy included. Fulham will cover 100% of his wages. Contracts are being prepared and he will sign in the next few hours. So, unfortunately, he's not gone permanently. There's not an obligation to buy. And it's still something, you know, him, Pepe, big wages, you know, really and truly. He's on 65 bags a week. Pepe's on something healthy. That's going to be something for Edu to address in the summer, as well as committing Saliba, Martinelli, Saka, Charlie Patino to new deals, and obviously flushing out other players that want to keep it moving or Arteta doesn't want and bringing in players. So seems like we're parking that off. You said, you know what, we're saying, you know what, probably get a little loan fee, take on his wages. Hopefully he puts himself in the shop window to move on to clubs, people. And if Fulham don't take him, someone else. For him, he gets to play under Marco Silva, you know, who I think he's crossed paths with as well as being his fellow countryman. Stays in London, links up with Leno. Go do your thing, Cedric, innit? Charles Watson said it was a tough decision for Cedric to leave this month. He has been desperate to play, but leaving Arsenal now is a difficult call for any player, given the opportunity they have. Ultimately, his desire to play and Marco Silva's determination to sign him made his mind up. Loan deal until the end of the season now imminent for Cedric. Fulham will cover his wages, no buy option. Arsenal waiting on Fresnadar, but even if he signs, the expectation is he will stay in Spain on loan for the rest of the season. Allegedly, smash the like button, people. So we have to see how that is. Fulham set to sign Arsenal Cedric Suarez on loan, says sources. Fulham are expected to complete the loan signing of Arsenal defender Cedric Suarez this week, sources have told ESPN. Negotiations have accelerated in recent days, and the two clubs have now agreed in principle a 6-month loan deal with no option or obligation to make it a permanent deal. Sources have told ESPN that Fulham will cover Cedric's wages in full, and that's contrary to reports elsewhere. So again, it's gone from first we were told 65k a week. Apparently, he earns close to 100k a week at Arsenal. So when you sign meaty players to meaty wages, it makes it difficult to move people on. For Fulham boss Marco Silva has made Cedric a priority signing in this window, viewing the Portugal international's experience and versatility as a vital addition as the club look to push on following a fine start to life back in the Premier League. They are 7th after 9 wins and 4 draws from their opening 21 matches as they look to secure a second consecutive season in English football's top flight for the first time since 2013-2014. Cedric has made just 4 appearances for Arsenal this season. So if he was on 100 bags a week, 4 appearances, that's very costly. Mikel Arteta has been largely reluctant to change a winning team with 7 players starting every league match this term. Marco Silva and Cedric enjoyed a strong working relationship from their time together at Sporting, winning the Portuguese Cup together when Silva was the manager in 2014-15. So you link up with your previous guy. Further confirmation, Arsenal fullback Cedric Suarez set to complete Fulham loan transfer. He is heading across London to join Fulham on loan for the rest of the week, with rest of the season, with a deal set to be finalised this week. Cedric Suarez is expected to complete a temporary move to Fulham by the end of the week. Go understands the 6-month loan deal does not include a buyout clause, but Fulham will cover his wages, which are reportedly set at around 100k per week. Marco Silva has made the defender a priority in the January transfer window and likes his versatility. Smash the like button, people. The coach also feels Cedric will add experience and a winning mentality to his team. Once again, Cedric is known by Marco Silva as they worked together previously in Portugal at Sporting. The Fulham boss has already hinted at a move for the right back this winter and now looks certain to get his man before the window closes. Cedric has only played 4 times this season, 1 start, and it came against Brighton, I think, in the Cup. And we're hoping for more regular game time at Craven Cottage. Fulham have made a strong start to life back in the Premier League and currently sit 7th place after 21 games. You know, obviously, the only thing I would say with Cedric, if this Fresnadar guy does sign and goes back on loan, I'm for that, because I'd rather keep Cedric, let him stay on loan. I mean, stay at the club and be a spare part. I'd rather a young player get more minutes, get more experience. Minutes are currency. And I do think we are strong at fullback. You've got Tommy Asu and you've got Benjamin White. But as the Europa League and the FA Cup come into play and Benjamin White's done great, there's been times where Benjamin White has looked, obviously he got collapsed against Rashford, as he always does. Tommy Asu came on, but he's been looking a bit tired. And the only thing you could say with Tommy Asu is a bit touch and go with injuries and things. So other than them two, you know, Brooke Norton-Coffey's not getting a look in. He's gone out on loan. I don't know what you're going to do in that regards and what's going to happen there. So I would kind of like us to be kind of over prepared in that regards. But I'm happy we get his wages off the books. If he's on 65 to 100k a week, it's a madness. And, you know, him, you know, you hope Cedric Suarez, you hope Fulham stay up and sign Cedric permanently or he goes elsewhere. Big up Pablo Mari. He's back playing again, but you hope Monza stay up so that Pablo Mari can keep it moving. Pepe is going to have to be addressed, whether he's at Nice or whatever. We know we're going to hold the L. Probably have to pay somewhat of his wages for a year, but deal with that. Obviously, you got people like Ainsley Maitland-Niles as well, who must be on 60-odd, 80-odd K a week. You flush these sort of players out, you get better, and we kind of learn. Because obviously, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Pepe out there, that's not with Edu and Arteta. But Cedric, Pablo Mari, Aubameyang's new deal, William always. When you sign meaty players on meaty deals, it costs us a lot of effort to get these lot palmed off elsewhere. And whether they've been brought in for free or brought in for big money, it's not helping the resources. So hopefully we can flush these players out, continue to have better resources, continue to pour them elsewhere, you know, to players that actually need it and roles that actually could be done elsewhere, people. We should just buy Brighton, then we're good. If only if it was that easy, fella. Why is it the way it is, DG? Because it is what it is, man. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, crazy how we didn't go for Camara before he went for free to Villa. Ticks all the boxes for us, to be honest. Saka has been in talks for a new deal since last April. Still no agreement. If I'm him, I'm asking for 250k minimum. Boy, couldn't begrudge you at all for that, really. Mad how United fans got rattled by Saka's celebration. Bro, United fans' new one is, Gabriel, Eddie Nketiah is better than Jesus. You mean to tell me, even if he is or isn't, I don't care. You mean to tell me Arsenal fans should cry about having 2 good strikers now? It's crazy. That's the new one they're flipping. And saying we didn't dominate the match. Like we didn't have 62 touches in their box. Like 20 out of the 25 shots, 20 weren't in their box. You know, and the wickedest thing is we scored 3 goals. And we weren't as clinical as we could be. In fact, all 5 goals are avoidable. There were periods where it was for United, but total domination. Definitely in the second half. Ten Hag's trying to play for a point. Big up 10 months, though. It is what it is. Offer Everton 35 million plus Sambi thrown. No, Sambi on loan. Sambi on loan. But Everton looks a bit toxic. On a side note, 2 former Arsenal captain brought Man United down a peg. First Vieira delivers the punch, then Arteta. And it's taken, to be fair, you know, United have dropped out of a potential 6 points last week. They dropped, you know, they dropped 5. They only took 1. But it has taken 2 cracking finishes, you know. Saka from far, Eddie from close, United on the road. But yeah, you look at Elise's banger. McKennie's stuff is starting to resurface, people. Keep your opinions coming. Smash the like button. For courtesy of Google Translate, people, McKennie's agents are in London for a few days already to evaluate and negotiate with various clubs. Also, we need a project that convinces him. Juventus pending clear request and absolutely within the reach of every club in the Premier League. I mean, he would give us another option. El Nene's a bit touch and go. You would feel a bit more comfortable that there is a replacement for Xhaka or Partey or an option to do that. Lokonga does not convince at this moment. I'm not really a fan of McKennie, but I wouldn't be against the depth. I really would prefer it not to be that. But it is what it is, people, in that regard. So moving on, and there's still some other stuff we'll circle back on. West Ham bid rejected for next Neymar, Marcus Leonardo after Arsenal links. 4:30, we're playing Football Manager. But again, it's a madness, people, really. Again, West Ham have had a bid rejected. Spare a thought for West Ham. Just signed Danny Ings and he's got a long-term injury. I'm trying to find the specific Arsenal bit, people. Allegedly, now 19, Marcus Leonardo has racked up 122 first-team appearances for Santos and has smashed 34 goals. The teenager hit 21 goals in 2022 and has obviously put himself on the radar of many clubs. Arsenal, Man United and Tottenham have all been linked with Marcus Leonardo in recent months. West Ham are now trying their luck, but we have to come back with a better offer to secure his signature. I mean, every young Brazilian youth's going to get labelled the next Neymar, so we're going to have to see how that develops. Journalist makes Milan Skriniar claim, people. Arsenal are among a number of Premier League clubs keeping an eye on Inter Milan defender Milan Skriniar, who will become a free agent at the end of the season. I would love it, but I don't buy it because Skriniar is going to have to be one of our top earners. He's going to want assurances over first-team football and all of those things. And it does. I'm not saying no to Milan Skriniar at all. Now, bring him to the carpet if you could, especially because he's going to be a free agent. But you're going to now have Saliba, Gabriel, assuming you did get Skriniar for this example, the ability to play Benjamin White and Tomiyasu there. And then obviously you've got Kiria as well. 6 centre-backs. Someone's going to have to be the deputy, the kind of side man, really. And you'd imagine Milan Skriniar is immediate pressure on Saliba's spot, really. So it is what it is. We'll have to see. I think maybe we could be in for, maybe we was, but I'm not too sure, man. I think Arsenal's a myth there. A lot of English clubs are looking at this guy. I wouldn't be surprised if Man United, Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Chelsea, any of them come in. Well, he's a top player. The top clubs are going to want top players. He's also been linked with Spurs, so hasn't said anything, especially if it becomes a free agent as well. He has been linked with Paris Saint-Germain, and that has been the primary signing club he's been looked to sign for based on reports since the summer. Smash the like button, people. They're all throwing their hat into the ring on this one. They weren't expecting him to be a free agent. He is. So keep an eye on this one. I think we'll see a lot of Premier League interest come in the next weeks. Addressing rumours that Skriniar could join PSG. I find it hard to believe he'll accept PSG without having already looked at the market. These Premier League clubs have got to be made. These Premier League clubs have got to be making it known what he can earn in England. There might be quite mouth-watering figures for him, which is true. So I don't think, unless someone was to leave, I don't think Arsenal are involved. People like Cedric on 100k, Saliba and Saka should be demanding 100 minimum. Bro, and again, when you make crap signings like that, it costs you. Like, God knows that the amount of appearances Cedric has played, if he was to do appearances made to money you've paid, again, his agent has played a blinder, but them stopgap signings haven't worked. And that's where I said we're learning from our mistakes of Pepe, etc. And you can see we're having a better success rate with recruitment, with Zinchenko, with, I assume, Leandro Trossard, with what Jesus has brought. The decision to give Eddie Nketiah a new deal, bring in Benjamin White off the back of one season in the Prem. Ramsdale, the same logic. Tomiyasu. So I give the club the benefit of the doubt. But this is where we now need to learn from giving Aubameyang that new deal in hindsight. Bringing Willian in, bringing Cedric Suarez and Pablo Mari. And when you can make cheap additions, you can cut corners. But when you cut corners like that, it makes it a lot worse for us, people. So hopefully we get over that. Have we missed anything? So yeah, that's in relation to Milan Skriniar. Arsenal in the race against Klopp to sign Ivan Fresnedar as clubs speak out on links. I'm pretty sure some of you would have seen my video come out today where we indirectly covered this. But allegedly, Arsenal are in the race against the Klopp to sign Ivan Fresnedar's clubs speak out on links. Arsenal continue to be linked with Real Valladolid star Ivan Fresnedar. Arsenal are in a race against time to sign Spanish youngster Ivan Fresnedar. According to reports, the Gunners could lose out on the right back to Borussia Dortmund if they don't make their move soon. But didn't we hear both teams had a fee agreed? I don't know. Nonetheless, people, Fresnedar has been linked with both Arsenal and Newcastle this window. He only turned 18 last September, but has also caught the eye of other top European clubs like Juventus. Arsenal made a couple of signings so far, bringing in winger Leandro Trossard and central defender Jakub Kiria, but Fresnedar would be more a player of the future. Real Valladolid are keen to keep him on loan for the remainder of the season. If he does agree to join another club, transfer expert Fabrizio Romano says Arsenal are yet to decide whether to proceed with the deal. However, the PL leaders must get their skates on as Dortmund are in discussions over getting the transfer completed for around 13.2 million. No decision made by Ivan Fresnadar yet. 15 million euros, 13.2 million quid, people, fee requested by Valladolid. Borussia Dortmund are pushing to get it done. Arsenal have to decide how to proceed in the next 24 to 48 hours. Valladolid want Fresnadar to stay there on loan, and Dortmund are discussing about it. He's played 14 career appearances, so I'm not against him staying. I'm not against him signing for the club, learning under Mikel Arteta, but you've just got into the first team. It makes sense to probably let him stay there, turn that 14 senior appearances into 30 odd, and then you begin your life at Arsenal in pre-season and that. Allegedly, Valladolid sporting director Fran Sanchez has given an update on Fresnadar's future. He has played down reports of an agreement with another club and says they are not desperate to sell the starlet. I mean, he's not going to say anything else. Fresnadar has aroused the interest of many teams, but we have not received an official offer. But it is true that several clubs have contacted us, and interest of many clubs is real, but there is no official offer. We as a club know that the most important thing is to stay in the first division, and then it is important to have capital gains or benefits that lead you to sign other footballers. We are not desperate to sell. Arsenal are also interested in a midfielder. The latest players to be linked with a move to the Emirates are Brighton star Moses Caicedo and Everton's Andre Onana. Ain't that meant to be our Mamadou Onana? Both of which are also targets for London rivals Chelsea, people. So whatever. He made like 500k per appearance, bro. He's living life. Question: would you get in if you're in? Who would you get in if you was in charge right now? Not a clue, man. Really, off the top of my head, my guy, man. DG, I'm telling you, if we win the league, they're gonna hold on till we beat you in the season. That's great for them. Big up DG, best AFC content creator on the planet Earth. I appreciate that, man. But I'm not too sure about that. And then they can stay around and hang around like a spare part. You know what you're getting with him next season. If we are in the Champions League, I want us to be over prepared. I'm kind of cool with that. If we could get an American, I want to lead you. I mean, Harrison, cool. I don't want Tyler Adams and Weston McKennie and all of that. But anyways, allegedly the Gunners are ahead of Barcelona for Martin Zubimendi. Arsenal now appear to be in with a great chance of beating Barcelona to the signing of Real Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi this summer. Ironically, Barcelona play him today, people, in the Copa del Rey. Smash the like button, people. Subscribe if you haven't. A report from the Daily Mail's outlined the 23-year-old's potential movements at the end of the season. Mikel Arteta has created one of the most exciting projects in European football right now. The Gunners play an attractive attacking style of football with a young, talented squad. Arteta has got the very best out of the likes of Bukayo Saka and Gary Martinelli this season. Even in the absence of stars like Gabriel Jesus, Eddie Nketiah has been drafted in and immediately stepped up to the required level. Last summer, Arsenal were desperate to bring in a holding midfielder. Douglas Luiz and Danilo were both linked with a move as Arteta looked for cover for Thomas Partey and also El Nene, who was injured. In the end, no one arrived, and Partey up to this point has put his fitness woes behind him. Please make sure that's still the thing, and been ever present in the Premier League. Now it looks like Zubimendi could be the player that comes in to provide that high quality competition. The report from the Daily Mail states that Arsenal target Martin Zubimendi faces Barcelona in the Spanish Cup on Wednesday night, having already decided that he wants to move to the Premier League at the end of the season and not to the current Spanish league leaders. He's also been linked with Man United, excluding Barcelona and us. Arsenal are willing to pay Zubimendi's £52 million release clause this month. However, the player made it clear he wanted to stay at his boyhood club until the end of the season. Real Sociedad, like Arsenal, are having one of their best seasons in recent memories and currently sit third in La Liga, and they're still in the Europa League. Zubimendi has been key to that success and has a big Cup quarter-final against Barcelona to prepare for today. A graduate of Real Sociedad's brilliant academy, Zubimendi now looks keen to make the move to England. Arsenal appear to have the upper hand on Barcelona as they chase Zubimendi. The Spanish club's poor financial position looks set to limit their future business. It could mean the Gunners capitalise in the future, especially with the guarantee of Champions League football. I don't know if mathematically we're guaranteed. Do you rate McKennie, DG? I think he's okay. You know, he could come in and be a good option, but I'm not really for it. Skriniar is going to PSG at his age. It's about the bag, and PSG has been going after him for a minute. Offered 75 million for him in the past window, and Inter rejected it. Crazy. Think if I remember correctly, we signed Cedric on a free deal, to be fair, so it's probably worked out even without a transfer fee that we would have had to pay. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Any time a player isn't doing their job, it don't matter really and truly. You know, you haven't paid a transfer fee. That means you've probably given him more wages than he could have commanded, as he would be in that case to demand, and also you give him a better signing on fee. And crucially, whether you sign someone with a transfer fee or not, anytime they're not playing and they're on 100 bags, we're wasting money. Not that I necessarily care because it's not my bread, but I know if we want to keep bringing in players that bring something to this table, people, and obviously our signing success rate, off the top of my head, probably Lokonga and Runnison probably been the meatiest players we've signed recently. Everyone else, Leandro Trossard has just got his feet under the door at the Emirates, played a vital goal in the goal that we obviously the winner for Eddie Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah signing a new deal has worked out a lot better than when we signed Aubameyang to a new deal. Now, I'm not begrudging Aubameyang signing a new deal because hindsight's a wonderful thing, people. You know, Aubameyang's new deal, Cedric signing, Marie signing, you know, Runnison signing. Obviously, you know, we're paying the price for Pepe as well. So, again, it's about doing the right things, which we kind of are doing now. So let's not mess it up, man. Let's not mess it up, man. Big up yourself, AB. Bringing Yunus Musa, Fabrizio Romano, new tweet on Fresneda. Oh, it wouldn't be a big up you lot for keeping me updated on such, but it wouldn't be a normal day without consistent updates. Let's see exactly what's been said here by him. I just want to see you lot can still hear me. Oh, wow, that gassed me. I saw Arsenal have open talks. Apparently, Borussia Dortmund would be open to letting Fresneda stay at Valladolid on loan until the end of the season. No decision yet by the player. Arsenal expected to decide the next step after Cedric deals closed with Fulham. There's one more German club also interested in Fresneda, people. So draw whatever conclusions you want to draw there, people. And once again, Cedric is going people to Fulham allegedly. So one love for that, my dude. Once again, people, further confirmation. Allegedly, Arsenal are, you know, well, better yet, Barca are set to face Martin Zubimendi, the man they want to replace Sergio Busquets in tricky Copa del Rey tie with Real Sociedad. And Xavi won't say a bad word about him, but 52 million valued midfielder has his heart set on Arsenal. Now, for me, if I was him, I can't lie, I'd go and play under Xavi, if I'm honest, and Barcelona and the carrot of replacing Busquets. But I can understand if you want to join your fellow countryman Mikel Arteta. Allegedly, they share the same agent as well, people. Again, let's scroll all the way down. Apparently, Barcelona wants Zubimendi to replace Busquets, whose contract runs out in the summer, but they can't compete financially with Arsenal. By the summer, miraculously, Barcelona's finances will look all right as they get a couple of players gone. Apparently, the player favours a move to England over staying in La Liga. Arsenal reached an agreement with his club this month to pay £52.5 million release clause, but the player does not want to leave his hometown team in the middle of the season, and the deal is more likely to happen at the end of the campaign. Zubimendi has never hidden the fact that he wants to play in the Premier League at some point in his career and has rejected Real Sociedad's attempts to increase his release clause when his contract expired, people. Apparently, Xavi said he's a great player, but they are different. Zubimendi is more physical and quicker, while Sergio Busquets is more technical. Apparently, the man himself said Busquets is unique as a holding midfielder. He is very good at what he does, the feints, the interceptions, and he's very clever in the way he presses in a forward direction after the ball is lost. I think he finds it harder when he has to run back. That's where I can be different, running back after the ball is lost, covering a lot of ground. I mean, that would be attractive to Mikel Arteta because, as you know, in his system, what you can do off the ball is as important on what you can do on it, man. Thinking we can and should aim much higher than McKennie. Amen. The talent ID of the mid-table clubs in the EPL has improved massively, and that's led to an overall improvement on the quality of player in the league. Zubimendi over Calcedo, but with Rice is 50-50, really. Yunus Musa is the one. McKenzie, man said McKenzie. I think it'd be McKennie and Tyler Adams can stay where they are. I'm with that, really and truly. I don't know if he actually crossed paths with Odegaard. I don't think the Chiesa rumors are legit, if I'm completely honest with you, but it'd be nice, people, if I'm completely honest with you. So that's that where Zubimendi is concerned, people. Again, where Chiesa is linked. In fact, is there an updated article on this Chiesa? Because again, Google Translate is not kind to us at all, people. But Arsenal have been linked with Chiesa. As I always say, I don't believe anything that links us with players in Italy. We've been taken around the houses, people, for Locatelli, probably for this guy, for Vlahovic, for Zenolio, with Xhaka and Torreira going to Italy, and many others, people. But let's see exactly what this article says, people, before we look at others. Allegedly, the Gunners' great season could be crowned not only by a title that seems possible like never before this year, also by a top signing of those that would really allow Arsenal to establish itself permanently as a superpower of British and perhaps European football. Yes, Federico Chiesa is the number one objective of the Spanish coach, who at the moment enjoys the greatest favor from his management. Already accredited with a possible move to Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid, as well as the object of acclaimed interest from Liverpool in him. The Juventus striker could be one of the excellent sacrifices at Juventus. The more than probable failure to qualify for next year's Champions League somehow obliges the Juventus club to deal with the lack of revenue from European competition. I mean, I think they sell Vlahovic for big money before him. You know, these Italian players very reluctant to leave the Juventuses as well. He might feel a sense of pride that Juventus stuck with me with my injury. Let me stay. If you put down the money, I'm all for it though. Among the candidates for his acquisition, Arsenal is fully registered, who wants to return as soon as possible. And again, McKennie's been linked with a move away. Rabiot, I don't know if he'll get a deal or not. Vlahovic could probably sold. I don't know if they'll move for Milinkovic Savic. They probably need to get rid of Arthur Melo, who's hanging around at Liverpool like a spare part. Probably and things like that. So I'm not too sure. Google Translate didn't help us, but allegedly Mikel Arteta makes Chiesa his top target. You know, had a big injury, quality player, can play all across the front four positions. I remember when Arsene Wenger was here, we wanted him when he was at Fiorentina. Arsenal have decided they really want to sign Juventus star Federico Chiesa, with the Italian outlet, Calceo, Mercato, Web reporting they registered their interest in the winger people. The Gunners are in a commanding position at the top of the Premier League table, but there are doubts over whether they have the depth to sustain a title challenge. You really think we're picking him up mid-season? I'm not too sure. Arsenal have solved one major issue by bringing in Trossard, as they lacked another quality option out wide behind Martinelli and Saka. But it seems that Mikel Arteta's men are eyeing an audacious move for Chiesa, who could be allowed to leave Juventus in the summer. Arsenal want to sign Chiesa. The 25-year-old is attracting interest from Real Madrid and Liverpool, but the Gunners have now registered their interest with Juventus. Juventus reportedly value Chiesa around 53 million. I mean, we could do that. And the Serie A club could be forced to sell some of the key players in a few months' time. The Italian winger has endured a difficult year after he obviously suffered a ruptured cruciate ligament injury, and that led to him missing 36 games. Chiesa was coming off the back of an impressive Euros campaign with Italy before the injury, and was arguably viewed as one of the hottest prospects in Europe, which is true. So we'll have to see, people. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. Smash the like button if you haven't already. I'm bugging out because we just looked at this. We've been linked with Declan Rice. Apparently, allegedly, folks, Declan Rice has said no to Real Madrid. Allegedly, people. I've read this about 2 times. Apparently, people, this is basically saying Florentino Perez was eyeing him up, looking at him. I don't know if that's to play with Jude Bellingham or, you know, as a potential replacement, or looking to take advantage. For Declan Rice, Real Madrid is Real Madrid. You can't say no, but you've got, at this moment in time, regardless of what happens with them, Modric, Toni Kroos, Valverde, Camavinga, Tchouameni, and probably some other guys soon to compare with. So yeah, people, it is what it is in that regards. In fact, what we should do, Florentino Perez has been closely following the West Ham captain for a long time, and in the past he even considered his incorporation, but did not present any firm offer. After learning that, I think when they say it, they mean he was non-transferable, the player himself had no intention of leaving and changing scenery. But now the situation has changed radically. The 24-year-old midfielder is disenchanted with David Moyes' project, because in the current campaign, they are fighting not to be relegated, far from the goal they set, which was to continue qualifying for European competitions. That has led to him wanting to pack his bags in the summer market, taking advantage of the fact that he only has a contract until 2024. A bit like Milinkovic Savic, we need to remember West Ham have the option of another year. He has notified the London board in relation to West Ham. He has no plans to renew, and he hopes to leave as soon as possible. At the moment, they've already placed a starting price of close to 90 million euros, which is the minimum figure that all his admirers will demand. A high investment, which at the Santiago Bernabeu was considering whether it was worth making. However, there's no chance that he'll end up joining the team currently managed by Carlo Ancelotti. And it is that Rice has already decided where his next challenge will be and what his next club will be, and he will not abandon his hometown, since he has given his word to Arsenal to become one of the first galactic reinforcements to close the Gunners in the summer. Mikel Arteta is very satisfied with the squad that he has available to him, which is the leader in the Premier League, but he is asking for several new faces, and one of them is the former Chelsea man. The agreement with the footballer is completely closed, and he will reject Real Madrid, Manchester United, Manchester City, Liverpool, and the rest of the teams that had his name on the agenda. Rice will become the most expensive deal in Arsenal's history. Arteta has no doubts that Rice is a necessary addition, and he has what it takes to succeed at the Emirates Stadium. For this reason, he has demanded that they pay everything that the Hammers will ask for, even if this means the English international will become the most expensive operation in Arsenal's history. Well, we must know that it's 80 to 90 to 100. It's nice to hear that he's given us his word, but word don't mean nothing in life. talking like this. Talking is a cheap currency. Doing is expensive, and especially in the harsh reality of football and life, unless it's legally blind and unless its I's have been dotted, T's have been crossed, it's all up in air, really. I mean, Declan Rice could give us his word as much as he wants. If we can't get an agreement with West Ham, then he has to go somewhere else. But it is nice to hear that, really and truly. I don't know what you lot make of it. Keep your opinions coming. Appreciate you lot for keeping me updated, people. What else you lot saying? Chiesa is a myth. What a player. Peak, what happened to Juventus point deduction. Apparently, they can appeal that, man. I don't know about rejecting that. Remember when we was linked with Arthur, we really coming out the gutter, but it made out the struggle. Word to young Scooter. We have to get a DM this transfer window, not in the summer, please. Rice would not say no, I don't buy it, but Real Madrid has plenty of midfielders. Same facts. Also, United. Oh, this is for someone else there. Rice would be a brilliant addition to Arsenal, Marcel, but it could be. I don't know, man. Rice would be good for Arsenal, but players don't reject Madrid or Barcelona all cap, but who knows? I agree, but didn't Haaland and Mbappe say no for whatever reason? But I agree generally, Madrid asks for you, don't say no. All these clubs, even I don't buy this, I want to stay in London. Yeah, Chelsea could be in it. But if Man United asks for you, historically, what they are as a football club, and also what Ten Hag's doing, I would listen. People might say, oh, there's Casemiro. Casemiro's not going to be there forever. And if Casemiro's missing, like you saw, he ducked out of the Emirates test. He got scared of Partey, and Partey had an off day. You can come in, and you're a significant better player than Fred and obviously McTominay. So I don't know if you should reject that. You hear he wants to stay in London. Man City asks for you. You'd be silly not to go and play under Pep. Liverpool need a rebuild. Chiesa, Henderson, all these men need to get rid. Declan Rice could be in there. Arsenal have a project. By all means, go for this player. Go for Declan Rice. Make sure you've got a separate plan in place, whether that means going for Moses Caicedo or Brighton, going for the Zubimendi guy, who I'd like both, if I'm completely honest with you. Who knows, people? The Mudryk deal got me having trust issues with transfers like Rice. The dream is free and all that. DG James, shout out to the members. Again, when I hear things like Arsenal are confident and all the language we've seen, by all means, it makes me feel happy, but we've seen this before. Until Dons are holding shirts, putting up scarves, I don't know. And especially players like him, which are in high demand, and West Ham might even take us around the houses. We might move quicker than all these clubs linked with him to get it done. But West Ham might say, you know what, them man are saying 80, we need 90 because we need to rebuild them and whatnot. Let's wait for other offers. So they might take us around the houses and delay. Kind of what Shakhtar probably did it with Arsenal and Chelsea. And I can't begrudge West Ham because it's a seller's market. If you've got someone with potential, which Declan Rice at 23, 24, has gone on to become a key player for club and country, doing his thing, it makes sense. DG, you need to put that on the t-shirt. I hear that. Why not? Merchandise soon land. On Declan Rice, Sky Cavalla said, I think one of the big moves will be Declan Rice. It looks like he'll be leaving West Ham in the summer. At the moment, Arsenal are leading the race for his signature. Has there been any other updates? Shout out all these Twitter accounts. Don't look like such apart from Cedric. So, yeah, we've seen this with Zubimendi, but apparently, once again, he's already decided that he wants to move to the Premier League at the end of the season and has his heart set on Arsenal, people, not Barcelona, who want to... We'll have to see. In relation to Weston McKennie, people, Weston McKennie remains one to watch between now and the end of the window. Juventus are open to a sale, but there's no urgency or cut price deal. Juventus see 20 million euros is too low. They'd actually like 30 plus million euros. Nothing too significant in Arsenal links at this point. No contact with Juventus. He's then gone on to say Leeds are genuine suitor, people. And as you can see, Leeds got the Americans there. So they got Harrison there. They're trying to bring in Ohani of Morocco, and obviously they've got his country colleague Tyler Adams. So we'll have to see. Apparently Spurs are long-time trackers of McKennie and have considered a loan. Villa and Leicester are two other clubs who admire him, but we've heard Leeds have taken the front part. Many clubs impressed and tempted by McKennie's versatility. Still a real possibility something happens. No firm offers yet. Juventus maintain their 15-point deduction for capital gains violations. No alarm bells went off for that Pjanic Arthur Melo deal. Okay. No dodgy dealings behind Vlahovic. All right. And any subsequent punishments won't force them to sell right now. This is an expected stance, especially as the club appeals, but several players could exit in 2023. Dusan Vlahovic, as first reported in December, is seen as a very gettable player this summer by various suitors, including Chelsea. He's been linked with Arsenal, Man United, PSG, and plenty of other clubs. Are we going to sign Moussa Diaby? I don't know. If Rice wants it and we want it, then I'll take it. If he's on the bench, we should listen to Eddie and all or nothing. You think you're the only one not starting? Not sure what that means, but hear that. Let's be real. He might not be the finished article, but he's perfect for what Arteta for Arteta and what we're trying to do. Young leader and very talented. I'm here for the Rice thing. Rice might have declined that big Real move because of first team football, understandable, risky. That's true. But if Real Madrid asks for you, I can't. I'm not saying you're stupid, but whether it works out, Real Madrid come calling, you go in it. Chiesa would be lit. Guy has skill and mentality. Amen. The only thing with Rice, like you said, you probably will be behind Valverde, assuming they sign Jude Bellingham, Tchouameni, and maybe even Camavinga, who's going for his own trials and tribulations. If we could have put out, if you could have one out of Rice, Zubimendi, Caicedo, which one you picking? I think Zubimendi offers something no one else in our squad offers. I like Rice, so it's probably a bit biased, but I'd say Rice. If you're asking me to look at it without emotion, I'd probably say Zubimendi for me. But in terms of all of them, I'd say Rice, seen a bit more of him. Caicedo looks a very good talent, showed it at the World Cup, shows it for Brighton every week. Still only played 30-odd appearances, though, for his club, really. So I would probably say Declan Rice. If it's based on what I like to see as a player, I'd think Zubimendi be my first pick. But I also feel like I'm doing Caicedo dirty, man. That's a great question, man. As a United fan, I'll be happy if Arsenal get Rice for a record fee because you lot know all about that, don't you? You know, bringing in Pogba, bringing back in Pogba and it's not working. You lot love going back to your exes. Ronaldo didn't work. Let's get Kudus and Kone from Gladbach. Kone's allowed to arrive, man. DG, do you think we're signing a midfielder this transfer window? I hope so, but my gut is no in it. But I am not Edu. I'm not Arteta. I don't know. I would love to. I hope we sign a central midfielder, but I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'd love to be. Keep your opinions coming, folks. If we're definitely going to get Rice, why not buy him now and loan him back? That's not how life works, my guy. You know it's not how life works. And man, I'm not spending 100 million to let him go back. It's not FIFA, my guy, man. But apparently, in relation to Weston McKennie, apparently his dad's hit out. Apparently, he's hit back at an Arsenal supporter who claimed the midfielder is not good enough to play for Arteta. McKennie is nowhere near close to being technically good enough for Mikel Arteta's side. He doesn't have the creative passing IQ or the positioning IQ. I think he's got the positioning IQ. I think Yunus Musa is a better American to sign if they want depth for Xhaka's position. John McKennie simply replied, "What are you smoking so I can get some?" I mean, dad's always going to, parents, I see it with academy boys, they're always going to put more importance on their kid and probably put them on a platform they're not. Arsenal could hijack Leeds' Weston McKennie deal as player would prefer Ghana's transfer. Obviously, we're a bigger club than Leeds, but you've got the American contingent there. You're probably going to play more first-team football. I mean, you give us a lot of depth, 30 million euros, that's about 20-odd million quid. It's not the worst of things, but I don't really want that. Pardon me. Apparently, Arsenal could hijack Leeds United's move for Weston McKennie, despite reports claiming he has agreed personal terms with the Ellen Road club. It's claimed the Gunners would be the preferred destination. Obviously, we're in London. He's got a lot of Americans over there at Leeds. His gaffer, a couple of his people he's rubbed shoulders with at international level. We're doing better. Arteta's project is great. You know, it's London aspect as well. You're going to be playing European football, whether that's Europa League or Champions League. It makes sense. But when you've been linked with Onana at the minimum, Onana, Telemans, Douglas Luiz, Zubimendi, Milinkovic-Savic, who else, people? Help me out, man. Declan Rice, Caicedo. It's not a name brand thing, but it's very hard to go to Weston McKennie for me as a fan. Arsenal are in the market for a midfielder and have been linked with Brighton's Moses Caicedo and Everton's Andre Onana, Mamadou Onana. West Ham captain Declan Rice is also a top target, but all three of those deals would be more likely to happen in the summer. Arteta wants to add depth in the middle of the park amid uncertainty over the fitness of El Nene, who picked up a knee injury in training earlier this month. Arteta doesn't want to leave himself short in a vital area heading into the second half of the season, and we are kind of short there. Any messing about with Xhaka or Partey or El Nene, then we have to probably go, you know what, Odegaard, Fabio Vieira, Zinchenko, Smith Rowe, you lot, we're going to have to do something around that and probably have to tweak how we play before we put in Lokonga, in my opinion. So we'll have to see. McKennie has been a regular for Juventus so far this season, but it appears the Serie A club are willing to let him leave for the right price. Apparently, he's rejected approaches from Bournemouth, Villa and Fulham. Leeds is more appealing due to the presence of Arison, Tyler Adams and obviously Jesse March. The report says Arsenal also hold an interest in McKennie. The Gunners are claimed to be more likely to succeed with a deal if they turn their interest into a firm offer, people. Juventus would want a total of around 26.5 million, with between 17.5 and 22 million of that up front, people. So it is what it is. Arsenal may have to move fast, as transfer expert Fabrizio Romano claims McKennie has agreed terms over a potential move to Leeds. A fee is now being discussed between the two clubs. Smash the like button, people. Keep your thoughts coming. Weston McKennie has accepted Leeds United's contract proposal. Personal terms are not an issue. It's on Leeds and Juventus now. The two clubs are discussing on conditions of a deal to understand how to proceed in the new round of talks, people. So I don't know where you lot are at with that, but yeah, man, there's that. Zubimendi was done very much under the radar by Arsenal. Because of that, I think they really rate him and don't want the Blue Rats, Todd, coming in for him. They can't really keep it. You can't really keep a secret, man, really and truly, in today's day and age. Dad's moving mad. 100 million to loan him back. Wonder if what if he does his ACL in that time? Exactly, he's not sensible, man. Deluded, are you going to the FA Youth Cup game against Watford? I shouldn't be. When is that? It can't be today, is it? What I'm thinking, if we sign this 18-year-old right back, he will move Tomiyasu to left back cover, and I think we'll sell Tini. I think Tini's days are probably numbered, even though I don't want it to be. Zubimendi is from San Sebastian, like Mikel. I bet Mikel would love that connection. Yeah, and also they share the same advisors / agents. Telemans went quiet. Seems like Arsenal lost interest on him, but he'll be free in the summer. Who knows if we'll go back, man? Rice isn't better than Partey. In fact, he's nowhere near Partey at his best, respectfully. I hear that. But still be a half-decent option for us, would he not be? 96 likes, people, still not got 100. You like acting, people, but nonetheless, let's move on. Once again, apparently Manchester City have made an approach for FC Midtjylland defender Osimhen Diamandi, who has impressed on loan in Portugal this season, with Arsenal and Sporting Lisbon also monitoring the promising teenager. Manchester City have asked about him, people. He's on a season-long loan at Portuguese side CD Mafra. Arsenal and Sporting are also interested, people. Let's see the specifics. Apparently, we were fighting Sporting. We wanted to buy him and loan him to Sporting. Then apparently it's us versus Sporting. Now you're seeing Manchester City have brought themselves in, people, and they're always going to sign the best young players around the country, people. So, well, around the world, better yet. That's further confirmation of Weston McKennie, if that's what you want. Dortmund are close to an agreement for Ivan Fresnedar. Agents are in England talking to clubs about Fresnedar. Nothing has been closed yet, and Real Valladolid are waiting for the best offer, allegedly, people. So again, further confirming the same stuff. Once again, Cedric Suarez will be a Fulham player. They'll pick up all of his wages. Pick up Zinchenko for that. He has the second best win percentage of all players who have played at least 50 games in the Premier League. That's a great thing. We've seen this already of Fresnedar. Demasio has said Fresnedar, very, very good player of Real Valladolid. Arsenal is leading the race. Even Newcastle are interested, but Arsenal is leading the race for Fresnedar. What is this again, bro? I'm just loving this Fresnedar news. What is this? What's this? Well, Arsenal about Weston McKennie. We've already seen that. I don't really care about that anymore. Apparently, Arsenal consider plan to hijack Chelsea's move for Brighton star Moses Caicedo this summer after being gazumped by the Blues to the signing of Mudryk this month. He continues to attract interest from top clubs. He's been linked with a move to Chelsea this month, but he's set to stay put. Arsenal may now rival the Blues in the pursuit of the 24-year-old in the summer. Arsenal are eyeing up a move for Brighton midfielder Moses Caicedo and will rival Chelsea in the chase for the Ecuador international this summer. Could it be third time lucky after João Felix and obviously Mudryk? He has been linked with a move to Stamford Bridge and linking up with his former gaffer Graham Potter. It ain't worked out. The midfielder is reportedly keen on the transfer, but was not willing to force through a departure from Brighton, and Chelsea are now resigned to missing out on him in January. According to the Evening Standard, the Gunners may now potentially rival the Blues when they revisit and move for the Ecuadorian in the summer. Arsenal are keen to sign a midfielder for next season, with the Gunners lacking strength in depth in that position. Declan Rice is emerging as one of the top targets, with the 24-year-old widely expected to leave Arsenal in the summer. However, Mikel Arteta's side are also looking at an alternative to Rice, and Caicedo has emerged as a strong option. He has poured cold water on his future, or his immediate future. I am focused on Brighton. I am here. I am playing every day. Things from the outside don't trouble me, nor does it take away that focus, because I'm focused only on here. I handle the speculation well. You hear rumors here and there, but I only try to be focused on the club where I am now, the club that opened the doors for me to be playing every week, people. So drawing what you want, people, allegedly, people. So we'll have to see in that regards. For what it's worth, allegedly he has changed agents. Brighton want to keep him, but Arsenal, Chelsea and Liverpool are well informed on his situation. It is one to watch in the final days of the January transfer window. I reckon he ends up at Chelsea personally. For what it's worth, we have seen this. There's a concern that Arsenal journalist claims inside info. Dean Jones has apparently said internally there's concerns about the midfield region at Arsenal. There's a concern at Arsenal. There's been since the start of the season. What if we end up with an absence in the centre of midfield? There have been times when it's happened and it hasn't been ideal for them, but they ultimately got through it and they're still top of the league. They would like the right fit again. They're not going to go and sign someone anybody here would advocate for people. So it is what it is. Let's see what goal.com is saying on this in this regards as well, folks. For what it's worth, as we've seen already, apparently Gunners make Federico Chiesa their number one transfer target. Again, apparently, people, it seems like Dortmund, according to what you read, some say Dortmund, some say Arsenal, but it seems like Borussia Dortmund have stolen the march on Ivan Fresnadar. People, we're interested in signing Osman Diamandi from Midtjylland, so we have to see how that goes. One article is saying, Peter Rurik is saying that Ivan Fresnadar is close to signing for Arsenal. We've previously just spoken about Moses Caicedo. We've been linked with Warren Zaire-Emery of PSG, the young man, bring him to the carpet. Arsenal could compete for Onana, according to journalists. According to journalist Sasha Tivaleri, the exit of Frank Lampard and the need for cash at Everton might have opened the doors for Mamadou Onana to leave in January, people. Apparently, Everton's up for sale. They know they've got rid of Lampard. Onana and Gordon have missed training. Apparently, that was for an unrelated issue. But as you know, Newcastle are trying to sign Anthony Gordon like Chelsea were trying to do in the last window. And Onana's been linked with a move away. The Belgian midfielder, who was linked with us when he was in Lille and in France, better yet, boasts of a strong and physical profile. And he is good technically in the centre of the park. And with the Gunners looking to bring in reinforcements in the winter window, they could keep an eye on Onana. We've obviously confirmed the signing of Jakub Kiwior as well. We've plotted a summer move for Martin Zubimendi. Arsenal want to sign the central midfielder Martin Zubimendi from Real Sociedad in the summer. The same report states that Zubimendi rejected the Gunners' offer a few days ago as he wanted to finish the season with La Real. Got Barcelona also interested in the midfielder as they believe he can be the perfect successor to Sergio Busquets, people. If we refresh the pages and see if there's anything else. Well, let's leave that. Fresnadar, we covered this. Real Valladolid yet to receive offer for Arsenal target, people. Oh, we have covered this. So again, it all really depends, man. How far or close on transfers to happening. What's actually happening in the transfer versus what's being reported. Who knows, people? Let's change this to the last hour. Shout out Zinchenko. Arsenal must forget the Europa League. Shut up, man. Target both of them. What you on about? We ain't that lit to be doing any of that. Bro, apparently Fresnadar's absence from training, people. Ivan Fresnadar's absence from training after claims Gunners made bid. Arsenal transfer target was absent from Real Valladolid training today, and he was on the bench in their last game as his future hangs in the balance, people. Let's see exactly what's been said here. The teenager could have picked up a knock as he came on as a substitute against Atletico Madrid on Saturday. However, it's much more likely the 18-year-old has been given time to make a decision on his future. As you know, he's been linked with a whole host of clubs over the January window. It now looks like he has to decide between a move to Arsenal and Borussia Dortmund. Apparently, the Gunners, even though Real Valladolid guy said they haven't had any offers, apparently we've made a £13 million bid for the defender this week, although Dortmund think they're in pole position to sign him. Fabrizio Romano has suggested that he'll make his decision in the next 24 hours, which may explain his absence, people. So we'll have to see exactly what's going on, but Dortmund will be a fantastic project for him. Xabi Alonso is amazed by Martin Zubimendi's playmaking ability, specifically what has been said. Martin's a player all coaches would want. He's generous. He always thinks more about his teammates than himself. He has that ability to generate play, to make those around him better, always offering solutions to improve the move. He understands what the next step is before the ball gets to him, as all footballers, much less a central midfielder, should. He has that ability to organize the axes. I loved working with him. Bring him, man. Apparently, he is keen on a move to the Premier League, people, but he has made it, and he favours a move to Arsenal over Barcelona, but he has made it clear that he wants to see out the remainder of the season with his boyhood club, which would rule out a switch to North London early, this month. So I'm here for it, people. I really am. I wanted to go away from these sort of things as well, people. Closing that. There's a couple of other stuff. Apparently, Granit Xhaka has given an interview as well, people, where he's spoken as well. We might as well look at this briefly as well. I'm fitter than I've ever been. Granit, you're usually the cool guy when the prize was handed over. However, you sweated a bit. I've dressed so well that it got a bit warm on stage. I just want to scroll to the Arsenal thing. He said, my coach, Mikel Arteta, sent me here. He told me I absolutely had to pick up this award in person. I really appreciate the coach. He gives me so much freedom. He then said it would on the game against United, it was just pure emotion when we scored the well-deserved 3-2 just before the end. At the start of the season, did you think Arsenal would be top after 20 games? I'd be lying if I said yes. Actually, the top 4 at the beginning of the season was our goal, and that should still be our goal. We keep working. Now it's the championship title. Now we're up there with an 8-point lead, and of course we want to win the championship in the end. What would that mean for the club? You could feel the meaning. I've been at Arsenal for 7 years now. The mood among the fans has never been as good as it is now, but there's still a long way to go. We take game after game and look at ourselves, people. All right. Things didn't always go as well under Arteta as they do now. Last season, we lost the first 3 games of the season. Some people were already at the end of their patience, but now you see what can happen when you give a coach time. It's his first job as a head coach. He is very special. What do you mean? I've had many coaches in my career, but never one like Arteta. He seems like he just focuses on football 24 hours a day. He always has a plan A and B and maybe even a plan Z. He's not just great tactically. He's also a great human being. Great stuff on that, really. Jack Wilshere, and former teammate of Granit Xhaka. You actually ran up. I remember when Xhaka and El Nene saying Jack Wilshere ran out the club, people, if I'm honest with you. Let's see what Wilshere's interview said. I see what they're going through and I know what they're going through. I talk to the players a lot, both individually and collectively, about what it takes. You just look at my career. It's not always going to be plain sailing. You're going to have moments, injuries where you have to deal with it. I've always been brought up with the Arsenal way: dominate, try and create overloads across the pitch and kill teams by having the ball, which is fair enough. He then said on the decision to retire, he said, Wilshere said it was really tough at the time, but now he reflects on it differently, says working with youth teams at Arsenal last year led him to falling in love with coaching. That will give you that hunger. You know, you've got the perfect brand of knowing what Arsenal's about. You've played at the top level. You've played in the Champions League, won an FA Cup, played in several countries as well. Obviously, won the FA Cup, played for your 2 boyhood clubs. You know what it's like. And also maybe not fulfilling your potential as a player gives you that more desire to be a good coach. I've said it years ago on my YouTube channel, and I'm happy to see it. I've said Cesc Fabregas will be a bad boy gaffer one day, whether that's at Arsenal or elsewhere, and Wilshere will return. I probably made my mind up about quitting. I still loved playing the game, but I wasn't fully committed to playing. I was more committed to coaching. I had to make that decision because I was a player who was also fully committed, and that's just the way I played. If I didn't have that, I didn't have that edge. Hopefully, I can have that edge now. I'm coaching people, and what a team this was. Francis Coquelin, Senu, J. Emmanuel Thomas, Luke Ayling now at Leeds, Craig Eastman, Henry Lansbury, Jack Wilshere back there. I believe that's Tom Cruise. Benica Folby and Connor Henderson were in the squad, but they're not here. Ozyakup, who last time I checked was at Besiktas, people. Jack Wilshere then said on stuff, he was really supportive and there for me more as a friend than a boss. It's a lifestyle change. Your whole life changes completely. When you're a player, it's the best job in the world. You turn up at 9 a.m., you finish at 2 p.m., you come home. As a coach, it's completely different. He says he usually leaves home around 6:30 a.m., sometimes listening to a coaching podcast on the drive to a training ground, and he does not return home until 12 hours later. Every session is recorded, allowing Wilshere and his staff to study players' behaviours and traits. That's true. I've always been brought up the Arsenal way, which is to dominate the ball, try and create overloads across the pitch and kill teams by having the ball. That really is my footballing philosophy, but it's always evolving. You have to adapt. I love his passion on Mikel Arteta and Arsene Wenger and that. I love his passion. I grew up with Arsene and Eddie Howe, and they're completely different coaches. Arsene would say that's fine. The opposition can do what they want as long as we do what we do. We play our game, we'll win it. It's a bit of arrogance, but it never came across as arrogance with Arsene. It was confidence. But I've never seen anyone like Mikel with his intensity and passion and the way he cares. Fair enough. Mikel and his staff let us play the game how we see it, but with the same details he would use. We have to do that for the players. If I have a player who plays right back on Saturday and then Monday morning Mikel says, can we have him for training? And he's doing something different to what Mikel wants. We're not helping the player in the best way, which is true, people. He then said Jack Wilshere then said on Cesc Fabregas, to have him in for a couple of days a week and work with players was really good. I've always looked up to him for his footballing brain. One suspects young players feel the same way about Jack Wilshere. Fair enough. Granit Xhaka has already bigged up the gaffer. Eddie Nketiah. How do Arsenal strikers compare in key areas? I don't really care for this article. I'm just happy they're both here. But top goal scorer since the World Cup, Marcus Rashford, Haaland, Eddie Nketiah with 6 goals. Madman. So big him up, man. Big up Eddie. Who knows? He might even be getting in with an England shot if he maintains people. And Nketiah is streets ahead of Jesus in terms of goal scoring. He's Arsenal's top goal scorer this season with 9 goals in all comps. Jesus, meanwhile, is on an 11-game run without a goal, which dates back to the 3-1 home win over Tottenham on October the 1st, which is there. You know, it is what it is. I'm happy both of them are here. Jesus averages a goal every 290.4 minutes, while Nketiah scores every 143.2 minutes in the league. So why is he scoring so much more frequently? Because I think he's more in the box, if I'm honest with you, than Jesus. And again, this kind of correlates it there. You see the heat maps. Jesus is a bit of everywhere. Now, don't get it twisted. Eddie's had to adapt, and I think his goals have been almost the icing on top of the cake, because although he against Spurs and definitely against Spurs, actually, he could have scored a couple. United, he could have at least had a hat-trick. He's been good since, his general play has been good. Take away the goals. Sometimes goals mask games. He's been very good, and he's taking his opportunities. Keep doing what you're doing, Eddie Nketiah. Eddie Nketiah spends more of his time in between the goalposts in a concentrated area, whereas Jesus operates in a broader space. The Brazilian tends to drop into midfield and out into the wings. It is Nketiah's fox in the box qualities that separate him from Jesus. He sniffs out the goal and knows just where to be at the right time. Fair enough. And you look at the shots map, there you have it. I mean, Eddie can just be a bit more sharper in front of goal for me, and he could have at least 10 goals this season, really. All 4 of Nketiah's goals have been scored from big chances. It's no accident. He keeps getting in those positions. Exactly. And I really like how, if you look at the goal that he scored for the second one, he's on his bike. Odegaard has made the run in behind, made the run towards the ball, sorry. Nketiah has just hung on the shoulder of Martinez, and his header is very good, Again, also Gabriel's movement was good in the build-up to that goal, because if Nketiah didn't do what he did, I think Jesus may have. The only lingering question is whether he can keep it up over a long period with no clear time frame on Jesus' return. This period will be decisive, but if Nketiah's expected goals of 0.8 by, he should have a fruitful season. Jesus may be playing catch-up when it comes to scoring, but he's a key part of Arsenal's build-up play and offers so much more than just goals. Despite spending so much time in other areas, Jesus averages more touches in the Oxbox per 90 than anyone else in the league, 10.36. He has the strength to hold up play with his back to goal and the vision to bring in players into the game, often in dangerous areas. And then you can see it. It's no coincidence that Saka, Martinelli, and Odegaard, with 8, 7, and 7 respectively, are all having their best goal scoring seasons. Yet following his arrival before injury, Jesus was the focal point of the attack. Nketiah performs well in this metric, registering 7.79 touches in the opposition box per 90, the 5th highest in the league. So that just tells me Mikel Arteta has a blueprint. Different players doing the thing, and it just shows me that we've got squad depth, but it's unable to match Jesus' creative output. Jesus creates a chance every 55 minutes and a big chance every 245 minutes. Meanwhile, Nketiah is yet to muster up a big chance for a teammate this season. Jesus has 6 goals this season, the second most of any Arsenal player behind only Saka. And Nketiah, meanwhile, has failed to set up a goal. I mean, that's not what he's there for. His general play is improved. He's there to do the general play thing, have a good team performance and score goals. Only 2 players can better the Brazilian's return of an open play assist every 245 minutes. He's also adept at creating space by beating defenders, helpful when breaking down a low block. Jesus completes a take on every 45.37 minutes, ranking 9th in the league compared to Nketiah, who does so every 73.6 minutes. Jesus more than makes up for his shortcomings in front of goal with his all-round game, helping to elevate others around him with creativity. Who's more effective out of possession? I would say Jesus, but I think it's probably closer than just Jesus. Lack of goals is not a new thing. It was a common theme at Man City, but his abilities off the ball helped Guardiola to establish his high pressing system. Arteta has brought a similar style of football to the Emirates, and the striker is the key to that. Speaking in February, Guardiola explained why Jesus was so important to that philosophy. When we need runners and players that help a lot with our high intensity and high pressing, he is the best in the world. Thanks to him, we can stay high and be so aggressive. It helps us and gives us extra rhythm for our midfield players, and our back four can stay high for a long time. Fair enough. Jesus' ability to cover so much ground across the front line allows him to pressure the ball early on and set the tone for the rest of the team. The striker dictates how high up the pitch the whole team is. Nketiah is outperforming Jesus in pressures per 90 in the league, but the Brazilian is superior when it comes to possession, 1 in the final third, interceptions and tackles. Jesus has refined the art of pressing under Guardiola and is more efficient at regaining possession. Nketiah gives Arteta the kind of selection headache with his goal scoring, but will need to improve in other areas to push Jesus for a starting spot when it really counts, people. Fair enough, really. But I just see that as we've got 2 players that can help us do a job, and that should make us a lot better in certain regards, people. So I'm never complaining about that, and I'm sure none of you lot are either, people. So yeah, big up you lot. Make sure you've got your thoughts, questions, etc. in, folks. But yeah, transfer news latest headlines. Call it that. Vlahovic still has to be looked into. What else are you lot saying, man? Because that was a long one. Telemans went quiet. Seems like Arsenal lost interest on him. I heard that. But who knows, really and truly? FA Youth Cup. When is that? Don't be today. Oh, next month. Fair enough. Appreciate you lot. Big up Tierney BT, man. I think he can accept that. Hope so. Big up DJ and the nation. Hope everyone's good. Tierney deserves first team football. It's unfortunate that his injury mess. The problem with him is, unfortunately, Tierney's better defensively than Zinchenko, but Zinchenko gives us another dimension in everything he does. And a natural byproduct of we brought in someone better, Tierney has become a squad player. That's one way to do it. You either go and seek squad players, or you naturally, people get demoted, really, in a harsh way, kind of Tomiyasu, because Benjamin White has made that his role his home as well. You guys think Zinchenko could start in midfield or inverted left back is better for him? I mean, Zinchenko could definitely play in midfield, but right now you're doing your thing. Calcedo had 90% of people that pretend to rate him don't even know what position he plays. Won't be long until we get linked to Samuel Ricky. These men are just linking us to Wonder Kids. To be fair, last time he was at Empoli, he was quite decent, that Ricky. Shout out, fire. Nice to see some of these men finally seeing the light and preferring other clubs over Barcelona/Madrid. We want Onana. Xhaka needs to have a movie made about him if we win the title. He was agreeing terms with her for Berlin before Arteta arrived. Crazy. Can't wait to see where Jackie goes in his coaching career. Shout out St. Kitts in the building as well, and Arsenal to the world and back. Wow, what a youth team. Benica Phobia and Henry Lansbury too. I see Zinchenko becoming a quality manager too. He has potential. Yeah, man. I mean, anytime you've rubbed shoulders with Pep Guardiola, you're going to become a manager, innit? You know, a true mark of a manager. Look how many, whether they've done good or not, Alex Ferguson, quite a few people have become managers. Under Mikel Arteta already, quite a few of the existing players are now doing their coaching badges. Obviously, Arsene Wenger can claim, you've got Mertesacker working in the youth role. You've got Jack Wilshere there. Cesc Fabregas will be taking his earmark into coaching and many other things, really. And there's probably a bunch of others. Jesus was never a goal-scoring striker. He's more of a false nine, but he still needs to score goals, man. We need a hungry and committed new player that are loyal to the Gunners, and rice and peas is too much English tax and peas. I think that's a dim way of looking at it. For me, you can't compare the two completely different playing styles. I think Jesus and Eddie Nketiah, bar the obvious, are different. Eddie Nketiah has been a goal scorer, and as slowly as he's, really developed at Arsenal, has added the other facets to his game. Jesus has never been a great goal scorer. He's gone through flurries. They're both playing up front. The way they kind of play is the same. You need to chase lost causes. You need to go and bring other players in. You do need to, drop deep. But they have other things to it. Jesus wants to work the channels. Eddie Nketiah will do that sort of stuff, but he more wants to stay in the box. You could definitely compare them. But fundamentally, for me, Arsenal have two, provided Eddie keeps going, two very good, genuine options there. And you kind of ease the burden, because had Eddie been moving a bit shaky, maybe internally and definitely externally, you would have been like, oh, are you bringing in a striker? The same way I'd love to wake up tomorrow and Lokonga gets an opportunity and he lays down a marker in midfield, because it puts me at ease in midfield. And if I feel like that as a fan, what are Arsenal internally going to do? Especially as obviously the market is running down. I think the game, being a striker is a bit of an unfair job in this day and age, because you need to be able to score goals, But sometimes a guy could score 20 goals. People talk about his general play. Sometimes you can do that underrated stuff. There's actually been games Eddie deserves a goal or two and hasn't actually been rewarded, and people say you haven't scored. It's like if Eddie doesn't score, he vanishes. Not true at all. I disagree. I can't lie. I disagree. I think if you've watched Eddie Nketiah this season, since he's been getting to play, against West Ham, not true. Nice to see he got the icing on top of his on the cake. One of his better games against Fulham, where he should have bagged. He came off the bench and made it well. I can't lie. I think that's false. I do think people are leaving Eddie Nketiah alone, but I do think because Eddie is not of the level of Jesus historically, and whether Arsenal brought in or not someone, I'm not saying you, Rohan, but it feels like everybody's been waiting to hit Eddie Nketiah with a stick over his head. I mean, there's got to be a reason. He's played 117 times and only has 32 goals and 3 assists, 76 Premier League appearances, 14 goals to his name. They're not all 90 minutes. Primarily, He has been the cup guy. You know, he's still only played 590 minutes for the 17 appearances he's made in the Premier League and got 4 goals. Currently this season, he's got 9 goals in all comps and 25. I don't think that's true. Definitely when he's now been brought into the team. I actually think when we dropped points last year against Southampton, Eddie Nketiah did very well. I'm looking at it now on Transfer Mark. I think, and you lot can see it as well. I definitely disagree with you there, man. Definitely since he's walked into the team now with the absence, people. Obviously, he's playing baby minutes at the start of the season. It's difficult to affect a game, to be fair, when you're not really involved like that. Definitely when you've only played a minute. His 29 minutes, half an hour against Fulham, that was his best game up until the point. Obviously, Chelsea, Wolves, he had to hold bench. He did score against West Ham, take away the goal. He's been quality. He did score against Brighton. I think he was very good. I think he was actually quite good against Newcastle. I think he should have bagged a couple against Spurs, but I think he was good. I also think you take away his goals as well, people. Against United, he also had a very good game. Oxford United, we got the job done. It is what it is. Did score a good goal in the Brighton game in the cup, but bit of a meaty one. I definitely disagree with that. And I think if you've been watching Arsenal, whether you rate Eddie or think he's of a level or not, he's definitely. I did more layers to his game. I can't sit here and allow that comment, my guy. I can't lie. I think that's a load of baloney on the sly, if I'm honest with you. But I hear it. No one's right, no one's wrong, and all of those sort of things. Eddie, thoughts? He's definitely become more multifunctional to a degree. Do you think Arsenal can win Europa League? Which team do you reckon would be a serious challenge? I don't know, but if we're not trying to, same way, if you're Man United, if you're Barcelona, if you're Juventus, if you're not trying to go all the way in that, it is what it is. Why is everyone giving Benjamin White pelters? He wasn't great against United, but it's been amazing all season. I haven't seen that. Really and truly. You know, everyone's just been praising, including myself. I haven't seen any Benjamin White slander. One good game don't make you wavy. One bad game don't. We'll give you McTominay on loan. I mean, if he wants to sell programs at the Emirates, he's more than welcome to. We don't need to defend anywhere near as much now. There'll still be efforts where backs are against the wall, and that's where Zinchenko's, Tierney's, Tomiyasu, Benjamin White. You need people with different qualities. But one thing I like about Zinchenko, he's on it in these big games, man. Tottenham at home, Tottenham away, Spurs away, Chelsea away, and obviously recently against Man United at home. But then again, you saw at the game at Old Trafford what Zinchenko gives you, and you double down and you commit. When Zinchenko, Xhaka, and Odegaard in particular are on it, one love to party, and that when them three wake up, we're a different beast. Yes, Martinelli, Saka, all of these guys, but these guys control the games for us. All three of them played key parts in us turning that Man United game around as well, if I'm completely honest with you. But you look at the Old Trafford game, when you don't commit to that, there's catch-22, the spaces that are left in behind. And at Old Trafford, United took advantage of that. So this is, again, you need different qualities. Let's not draw any conclusions on we don't need this, we don't need that, what's going to happen here and things like that. Again, I think Arsenal, Eddie Nketiah has completely disintegrated Jesus' chances of ever getting in the team, really. Just the other week, some Arsenal fans used to say Martinelli's got to leave because Smith Rowe's there. I think fans now need to understand you need a squad of different qualities. Even if Tierney was to leave tomorrow, you still need to bring in a left back, whether they're doing what Zinchenko is doing or elsewhere. And yes, you do have the key of Tomiyasu. Like you saw, I think Zinchenko's had a couple injuries these times as well, so you need other players. But as good as Zinchenko's been, when we beat Liverpool and it's time to just be in the trenches, Tomiyasu man marked Salah off the effing park. Salah's worst game at the Emirates, really. And obviously, Benjamin White struggled against Rashford. Rashford always has his number as great as he is. Tomiyasu came on and patterned everything up, really. So you need a squad, man. You need a squad. Especially, you can see you've got the FA Cup on Friday. You've got the Europa League. You've got the Premier League, which is going to be high demanding. Next season, by God's grace, we're in the Champions League. And you want to, whether we win the league allegedly or not, because I don't check the league table, you want this to be a marker. Don't just let this be a positive blip, a positive surprise. This is now an expectation to go after the league title, no matter how unrealistic it might be. You need a squad to do that. And obviously, you've got the Champions League. You need a squad to do that, And the more you play the same players, as we've seen, it's been the 9 times out of 10, the same 11 for even in the Europa League while we were still in it. You need a squad. Injuries, suspensions, loss of form, these are things that happen. And I've got a lot of sympathy for Edu and Mikel Arteta and a lot of admiration for what they're doing. But any problems that Arsenal face as a result of injuries or things like that, I don't have sympathy because we've seen this script several times. I would like to see Arsenal have a tall number 9 who wouldn't be afraid to strike the ball and hold up play as well. I mean, if you could get someone that's a bit different to what Jesus and Nketiah bring, why not? People need to actually watch the games. Nketiah walks into almost every Premier League team currently. Both Tierney and Zinchenko are useful in different scenarios, but the latter strengths are more useful to us in the majority of games we play because we dominate possession. Now, tell him again, what a comment in the live stream. Eddie Nketiah's hold-up play is really good, much better than Laka since Eddie can actually turn. To be fair, I think you're being big up Eddie Nketiah, but I think you're being a bit harsh on Lacazette. When Lacazette regressed, he regressed, but Lacazette's general play was very good, really. Oh, vanishes. You got to be specific, man. But I'm just happy we got 2 different players, man. If Arsenal are smart, they sell Tierney to Newcastle, get 50 M's. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about bummy left backs. You don't tell Luke Shaw, come get his chain back. Saka's got that. I don't know about any of that. Must respect our players, man. You got them little Beyblade dons. Have you seen the fake Henri quote? Every United fan is sharing DG. These men are desperate. Yeah, they are. I'm in a group chat, man, and they're sharing that fake one and they're shouting context. And they say we didn't dominate the game. Now they're flipping it to Eddie Nketiah is better than Jesus. Nobody cares. If Jesus is better than Eddie, great. If Eddie's better than Jesus, great. I care about my football club. I wanted these problems. We used to die for times like this. One love to Aubameyang and Lacazette. But if Aubameyang weren't scoring goals, get him out. If Lacazette's not doing that wavy general stuff, get him out. You know, we've come a long way. I want these problems. We've finally got good problems. Good problems. So, I'm always there to praise Gabriel. When it's trenches work, he's been there. You know, it feels like when certain centre-backs, not that I'm making it, that when certain centre-backs make a mistake, it's like, there. When Gabriel makes a mistake, there's serious issues. Now, I get it. He's slightly more experienced. But people play favourites too much. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Eddie is who I thought Iheanacho could be. Crazy. Eddie has improved a lot. He adds a lot of muscle to his body. And you got to be honest with yourself. Whether you think Eddie is the guy or not, whether he has a long-term future at Arsenal or not, bro, let's be real. He's like 23, 24, if that. Do you know how many strikers are the finished article? Harry Kane. Where was Harry Kane at 23? Just broke a record at Spurs. I'm not saying Eddie will be like these guys. Where was Jamie Vardy? Where was Aubameyang? Boy, so it's a bit harsh, really. And especially in this day and age where if you're like Saka and all these guys, you're wavy at 16, 17, rather than seeing that as an exception, people assume that's now the rule. You've just got to be the finished article. And to be fair to Eddie, when you're not playing, when you're getting little 10 minutes and things, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that because there's been better guys than you. You haven't necessarily put down a marker. These are the things that go against you. Eddie's finishing, don't get it twisted, could be a lot more crisper. Same with Gabriel Jesus. You know, Eddie could easily have double figures this season. Really. Of course, he needs to improve. But again, man, I'm not the finished article. Eddie Nketiah is 23, 24 this year. Now, he now needs to start defining and refining and filling out and becoming his own. And crucially for us, you know, for as good as Eddie's doing, we might get an offer that we can't reject. And we might be able to bring in a striker that is 30. And obviously, you've got Balogun in the wings as well. Hopefully, Balogun can be 30. And if you play for Arsenal as well, great. If not, make us some money in it. And we reinvest and we live in it, really. Because that could be a way of kind of cheating the game, especially as we have money, but we can't go and do what Chelsea's doing. Our academy has to be able to sell players. You know, Ainsley Maitland-Niles could have brought in 20, 30 million pounds for this football club. The next time that happens, can you sell him? Can you get fees for Reece Nelson? Can you move on players when they need to be moved on? You know, Balogun, I'm not saying to keep him, sell him or loan him out, but I think all of these things should be considered. And anybody else. All that talk about Zaha being better than Eddie, bet they're glad we kept their cash and back to our boy now. I won't even lie. I just love the trenches mentality Big Gabby has. Amen. Sell him when Balogun man comes back, though, respectfully. Let's see what Balogun's on. Eddie isn't the impact sub type of player, but when he starts, you can see how much he affects the game. I hear that. I'm not sold on Eddie, but I'll admit he's a better striker than I'm giving him credit for. End of the day, I want my striker scoring goals, and he's hitting that mark. I hear that. Shout out to Mikel for seeing Eddie's potential too. Finding a second striker in this window would have been difficult. Everton, Southampton, West Ham. Would you take any players from these potentially relegated clubs at a cut price? Declan Rice, without saying. I mean, if Fresnadar was to flop, I mean, that Ben Johnson guy could come and sit on the bench for Arsenal as a little backup option at right back. Trying to go for it. I mean, Bowen, I guess I would take Bowen just because I like Bowen, but it's not a force thing. Southampton, Lavia. probably Ward-Prowse. Maybe Kyle Walker-Peters because he can play left and right back. Again, if Fresnadar thing flops, part of the squad rotation. Everton, Onana. Who else is there at Everton? Onana, off the top of my head, I'll have him. I'm not really on Damari Gray. I'm not really for these bringing back Iwobi shouts. Probably 1-2 players I'm forgetting, but off the top of my head, I'd say them, man. DG, that's the striker's life is fake. It is what it is. Ten Hag saying we was restricted to long shots. That's great for Ten Hag, man. He can go and do his analytical thing in it because we got 3 points. I just know out of the 25 shots, 20 were in your box. We had 65 touches, the most of any Premier League game this season. So you can sole yourself with that fact. I would say all 5 goals were as a result of silly mistakes from footballers. You know, the second goal was, the winner, the third goal, fantastic from an Arsenal point of view. McTominay has missed an interception. Nobody has followed Odegaard. The Man United's defense is disjointed, which has led to Eddie Nketiah being onside. The first goal, take nothing away from Marcus Rashford. It's absolutely amazing from him. But Saka's messed up. Partey's tried to play a poor pass. Saliba could have probably got tighter. Ramsdale's positioning could have been better, as could De Gea's for Saka's goal. But you invited Saka onto his left foot off the right-hand side. Eriksen and Luke Shaw not getting close enough. So that's for them. I don't care. When we dominated at Old Trafford, really, and should have won the game, but we didn't take our chance. We have to hold the L. Nobody cares. Sometimes you have to win ugly. You haven't got to win pretty. And we won that when I don't think we was as efficient or as effective in the final third as we could be. Saying that, and we have 3 goals. We dominated the second half. We dominated the majority of the game. There were times where the midfield opened up, as shown for what led to the corner, which led to Lisandro Martinez, which is why I said out of all 5 goals scored in that game could have been avoidable for both teams. As I said in the watch along, big up to you lot that was there. If you won, lost, or drew that game, you could only console you couldn't complain because it could have went either way. Fortunately for us, it went the way we needed. We got a bit of revenge on Man United after they beat us at Old Trafford. So Ten Hag can do what he wants, innit? Cool, long shots. But 20 of them, 25 shots are in your box. 65 touches in your box. What? I mean, you got to find positive somewhere in it, but I would rather the 3 points. As I always say, 3 points first, deal with everything second, innit? That's cool story, bro, is what I would say to 10 months. Who really cares, man? No, I don't, man. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think Onana is a pure sitting DM. Nah, he's more of a box-to-box, man. How strong of a team would you go for Friday? I said Lavia. I'd go as Bella Koch, whatever his name, the centre-back's decent. How strong? I'd go as strong as we potentially can. I'm not being funny, but we're not playing until next Saturday, Sunday against Everton. Going as strong as we can. I want to bring the FA Cup home, really. Since we've won it, we've been embarrassing ourselves, really, in it. I don't think there's a way to rest players. You could make a case of Tomiyasu for Benjamin White, probably Trossard for Martinelli. I wouldn't complain if Mikel Arteta named exactly the same lineup. I don't agree with just resting people for the sake of it, man. So let's see what we're on, really and truly. I got as strong as we potentially can. Eddie is good. He has the back to goal hold up play. Only a few forwards now in the Premier League has that. Mo Salah is the best with his back to go. I'm not too sure. Mo Salah's good with his back to go. I'm not sure he's done it the best there. Put our best team out there apart from Partey. Can't risk that one. Nah, we're gonna have to, man. People making bad excuses for Arsenal winning, and I am one of those people. But you can't deny that they're dominating most games. Even United never really looked like winning that game. I hear that. I was only really scared when Marcus Rashford had possession. Cool, Anthony's nutmegging couple players and that great, you know. But Rashford did an effective nutmeg on Partey. If Anthony clocked like I could be decisive, it is what it is. I'm naming the strongest lineup, and I think in terms of percentages in the first half and the second half, Arsenal did enough. Whatever coping mechanisms people need to console themselves with the fact of that, that's cool. You know, Man United fans, how much times, you know, under Sir Alex Ferguson or whatever, used to dominate games. And there was also times where you won where you didn't, and then you turned it around. It is what it is. I've seen them rock. I've seen Man United rock up at our place where we've been absolutely amazing, and it's just been us versus De Gea. We've not done our jobs. They've gone down the other end and scored. Who cares? Or I can't remember the year, but there was literally a game we was dominating. I'm pretty sure Koscielny and Mustafi were our centre backs, and they made 2 massive errors. Who cares? The big game's bringing Saka to that new level. You can see he pushes himself to be the game winner. Aaron Ramsdale saying he broke his knuckle at the World Cup and has played games till now with his middle his middle and ring finger stitched together. Bloody hell, mate. What players go through? Arsenal should go for Leao after Mudryk. I mean, if he hasn't signed a new deal at his current employers, I'm all for attempting that. In my opinion, Anthony's overrated. I mean, he probably is, but I think there's a player there. I think with Anthony, you're either going to continue being this frustrated player or you're going to wake up one day and be one of the best wingers in the world. There's no in between because he hasn't realized that there's no point doing a million skills if you haven't caused genuine problems for the defense, the opposition defense. Rashford, there was means to his madness. Partey's made a mistake. Let me do a quick nutmeg. Now I'm going to bang it and take advantage of Rashford's Ramsdale's positioning. Do your skills, and I like the fact that he keeps doing that, but do it where it's going to affect people and you're going to put people on toast. Really, there's no point if a team's playing a low block doing the skillers. It does not make sense. But he's still a young man. Thoughts on Núñez and Gakpo for Liverpool? Both struggle in the Premier League at the moment, in my opinion. I think Núñez is doing all right. Probably was when he did the Millie Rock. I think Núñez is just looking bandulu, but he's doing all right. As for Gakpo, he just signed, didn't it? Man's playing FIFA Street with no end product. It says essentially that. Anthony's still scoring despite his deficiencies. I'm confident Ten Hag will get the best out of him. I think it's a thing for... I think Anthony's at that point now where you've got to look at it yourself now. As I said, I think he's one of them. He'll end up being one of the best in the Premier League or best in the world or whatever, or you'll just, for years, you'll just keep doing this. What position would you like to see come in other than defensive mid? In an ideal world, a striker with a bit of different qualities to Jesus and Eddie and Nketiah. Obviously, we brought in Trossard out wide, but if we could get a next one that's wavy as well, I don't mind. I do think we need a centre mid or two. If it's up to me, an 8 and a 6 or 3 midfielders, in fact. We brought in a left-sided centre-back, so fair enough. I would probably say right back now at this moment in time, if I'm completely honest with you. So, yeah, man. Yeah, Lavia, James Ward-Prowse, Kyle Walker-Peters, if that was it. Man said, oh, Nana, what's my name? Eddie's going to rise from here onwards. Is it true Nketiah broke the under-21's top goal scorer of England, surpassing Alan Shearer? Yeah. And people wanted 50 million on Tammy Abraham. We need to encourage our home as much as we have done for Smith Rowe. I can't wait to see Smith Rowe back, man. That's the one bad thing about this season. I ain't seeing you really like that. We've got 166 likes for the 395 of you lot locked in. That is terrible. You lot are violating. One love to you lot who have smashed that like button, people, and all of those good things. Again, for a smaller, condensed version of my transfer news, people, earlier today came out with this one. Last night, I'm pretty sure you would have seen that one. Don't forget 4:30, we're playing FM as well, folks. You would have seen that. And obviously, you've got this here. What other talking points have you lot got? Should we spin the block for Arsenal once again? Appreciative to all of you locked in, whether you're on YouTube or Twitch, people. It means the world. Don't seem like there's nothing new really with Arsenal. I mean, where's the Milinkovic-Savic links at this moment in time? Let's see what's going on. It doesn't appear like there's anything really of significance. Really, it's kind of dead as the window draws to a close. No, nothing there. I think it's going to be a dry one, people. I think we've covered everything we potentially can, man. We've been very proactive in that regard. If there is any emerging news, there'll be vids in that. But yeah, man, it's a bit of a madness. How much do you think we get from Nuno, Pepe, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and Marie when they return from their loans? I'm not exactly. You're just proving you don't know football. Smith Rowe's a baller still, but I don't expect Man United fans to have proper comments. You should try to say Sancho was better than Saka, and Anthony Martial, the best thing since sliced bread. But we're not going to do any of that. Anyways, how much do you think we'll get from Nuno, Pepe, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, and Marie? How much has Pablo Marie joins Monza? If they stay up, isn't there a buy option in that contract? Couple million quid. I don't think we'll make our bread back for Pablo Marie. Apparently, Pablo Marie, he's joined on loan with an option to buy for 5 million. If they stay up, the loan will cost 2.5 million euros with another 10 million to make it permanent. So you've kind of clawed back your fee. So I'd say 10 million there. Pepe, probably 10 million, really big wages, got a year left on his deal. That's it, really. 10-15 million euros if you're lucky. In an ideal world, you'd love to wake up and someone bid it 20, but probably a myth. Ainsley Maitland-Niles probably 7 to 10, which is a massive downgrade. Nuno Tavares still under contract for a decent amount of time. You know, you'd imagine 10, 15, you should be able to get that really, or loan him out again. None of these guys are bringing in significant shouts. I don't understand the right back shouts. Good thing Arteta does, in it. Then we have White and Tomiyasu, we know. Centre back, we have Saliba, Gabriel, Holding, Kyriel. Left back, we have Tini and Zinchenko. No new right back plays a single minute. We need midfielders. You're listing right backs and centre backs. All right, bro. We do need midfielders, but all right. We should try and get Tonali from Milan. The dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. I'm keeping Nuno if an offer for Tini comes in. No, if Tini leaves, Tavares can leave regardless. You know, Tavares can cut out as well, man. Like, there's no way. Listen, unless I want to be wrong, because I think if Tavares could switch on defensively, he'd be a great player. But until that man can defend, he does not have a future here. He will not have a future. You can tell me how many goals he scored, how many skillers he's done. Right now, on the 25th of January, not a single person has been able to come up to me. And I can tell you actually when he has, because I've done the loan reports, when he's been great defensively. But everyone wants to absolutely wax lyrical about him dancing past 20 man and scoring or having a shot. Not that overrated in the final third, just because he used to be a fullback. There's no point, you know, if you've got an option to your left, option to your right, and an option centrally, picking and shooting and going into after a great mazy run, it doesn't help anyone. Overrated offense, overrated in the final third, even though that's a strength of his. Decent athlete, poor defensively, back free tax as well. Myth. I'd rather just bring in another left back, and even if even if he's there, I'm putting Tomiyasu left back before that. But anyways, Arteta on Trossard, that's what I like about him. I see a player that is willing to make things happen and who's really composed in the final third. Straight away, he had a beautiful impact. Amen. Forget the Nuno thing, man. Nuno was made in a lab. They forgot to put... Bro, if he woke up and had better decision-making, Nuno would be a very good footballer for Arsenal Football Club. But Tomiyasu can play all across the back three, man. Yeah, he's chaos. And as you saw, even against United last year, he was chaotic. I think he ended up scoring. He gave away a pen. You know, it was terrible. But you can't be relying on these kind of men. I'm sorry. Fresnadar looks like one of the best right-back prospects in the world. You don't pass up players like that. I ain't got no agenda against him, man. Tavares and Lokonga can't go a stream without a stray from DG. I have to be honest. I rate both of them. I want to be wrong. I want every player to end up being wavy because it means we don't have to fix up and go into our pockets. I have to be honest. Same way if I say a player's good and I say a player's bad. I will hold my hands up if I'm wrong or if someone's changed my opinion. What am I going to lie to you lot before you lot say I've got agendas? Slap Lokonga in the lineup right now. And I would back him. I'd love to be proved wrong. Slap him in the lineup right now. You lot bet on that. As opposed to Granit Xhaka, Partey, El Nene even. Because I know I don't. And I know if anything happens to any three of them, without talking about a centre mid, I'm trying to flirt between Zinchenko, Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, these lot playing in that 8 role. That before Lokonga. I'd rather commit to just being a bit more attacking centric than throwing Lokonga in there right now. Because I don't know what I'm getting at with him. Tavares, you're a loose cannon. There's been times you've done well in an Arsenal shirt. I know I can't rely on you away from home. You've always got this madness in you. Even when we done well in the 3 games when we played Chelsea, West Ham, and Man United. He even scored against United. Bandulu could have done better for one of the goals. Gave away one of the penalties. Fortunately, we got out of there. Chelsea, Buki. You know, West Ham, Buki. You saw how he was crippling Gabriel and Xhaka. Nottingham Forest, fair enough. It was a mix and match, pick and mix lineup. Buki, Crystal Palace, dodgy. United at Old Trafford last year in this kit. I'm sure Smith Rowe scored. Buki, and I'm not just saying an agenda against him because at times I don't think he's been protected by his midfielders, by his winger, or Mikel Arteta has exposed him. But at the same time, bro, forget that, man. Forget that. And I want to be proven wrong. As I said, if Tavares could marry his athleticism with using this upstairs and being good defensively for 8 million, that's a good signing. I hope you return to the Emirates like that. But I don't know if that's what you're on. Oh, Lokonga's just on the next thing, man. I wouldn't even say Tavares has got the bozo gene. He's just a free spirit, a madman from the jump. 189 likes, people. Can we get to 200? He's just a madman in a nice way. Arteta saying we're playing the best team Friday. Been watching too much of DG on FM. I respect it. Nah, it's not a slander thing, man. But sometimes you have to nip things in the bud. Do you not remember when Tavares signed, Arteta said the analytical team, well, we got this one wrong. Turn that 8 million into 28. We keep it moving, innit? I'm just proud of the team overall. Arteta, and I must give Eddie some props. Nuno isn't good for us. That's all I'll say. Bro, Nuno Tavares is out here peeing off his loan manager and that. Pick him up, man. He's still only, 22? You've got potential. 23 this year. I'm not on it still. I'm not on it. Tavares can only play wing back. He needs to play in a back three formation. We need an out-and-out striker to cover for Partey. I think you mean we need an out-and-out striker and cover for Partey? Milinkovic-Savic did not have a light Partey in that, man. He's better than me, man. And obviously, playing that fullback role, you now need to be, you're basically a centre mid. It's a myth. How well do you think we'll do in the Europa League? Would you rather focus on the league if injuries come? No, go after the whole thing. Yes, dynamic shift, variable shift, and Arsenal find themselves allegedly, because I don't look at the league table, in an opportunity we might not have fought in August. But when have we earned this right to just focus on that? If we want to be a team that one day, by God's grace, can go after the Champions League, the FA Cup, the Premier League, do it now. Do it now. There's no focusing on nothing. If injuries happen, we got a decision to make. You go as far as you can in that Europa League. You go as far as you can in the League Cup. FA Cup starting on Friday. And you keep doing what you're doing in the league. There's no focus on this, focus on that, and all that nonsense. In my opinion. Says it all there, Danny Fanny. Bambi needs to go Burnley or Sunderland somewhere in the cold weather and then man up and come back as a newborn. What game was it last season when Nuno went on a mad 70-yard dash? I remember he created a 3-on-1 and instead of laying it off to Saka or Pepe, he shot from 30 yards out. Exactly, and he's done that for Thingy, man. Come on. I hear it, DG, but Tavares is better than Tierney. Let's be real. That's an agenda. You're talking nonsense. I'm not even going to reply, man. There's no way on God's green. I've gone to your head. These players have to have a great 90 minutes or your whole family's dying. Man, I'm betting on Tavares. Tavares will somehow off himself. But, somehow he shot himself. Tierney's better than him. Dead. And I don't care for Tierney or anybody necessarily. Again, Zinchenko's the guy right now. And gas up Tavares over Tierney. This is why I mean certain man's opinions are capped in this thing. Risky, man. If I was in your shoes, I'd want Prem as the sole focus. I want it all. I don't think it's January the 25th. I don't think we're in a scenario to do that. Really and truly. Just keep doing what you're doing. Fortunately, I think Arteta's of a similar thinking, man. Tavares can shine in Marseille, so sell him to Den. Sell Lokonga, Nuno, and Marie. Use the money to strengthen the squad. Bring Guendouzi back. You're going to have to forget that one, man. The Guendouzi thing is over, my guy. 8 more likes until 200. Just going to have to just forget that one, bro. So it's over with, really, isn't it? Like, it's over with. Like, can't go back again. It doesn't seem like there's anything new in the world of football, people. 4:30, I'm playing Football Manager, so Twitch gang, make sure you're there for that. But yeah, man, from Managas and Marie talking about saying Tavares is better than Tierney. I know I've put my shift in, people. I know I've put my shift in, so that means I need to keep it moving. So yeah, man. On that note, it is what it is. Arsenal fans love to going back to X's. They're gone for a reason. Amen. Certain man are saying, "Oh, I'd love to see Alexis Sanchez play again." Forget that, man. But yeah, on that note, people, you lot's talking points, your engagement, all of this stuff in the hour, 1 hour and 43 minutes. It's been crazy, people being here. Time flies when you're having fun. I appreciate all of you lot's opinions, talking points, everything we're doing on this platform/platforms when you consider Twitch. Obviously, check out the other vids. I will cut up clips from this live stream. But for now, you lot stay blessed, stay safe. I'm out. I mean, Nuno Tavares, let me show you something about end product in the final third.
I guess this right back, Charlie.
There's always just that active red flag. Defenders, I think, it's like. There's always just that active red flag. Defenders, I think, it's like.